Hey, it's Saul Overman. I brought something here at a yard sale. I wanted to show you guys. This is a Whisperlite, a Minnesota Safety Research Whisperlite. This is an old one. You can tell that the knob is different than the current production ones, and this one predates the development of the shaker needle that's included in the valve or in the orifice. It took me about 2 days of playing around with this thing to finally get it to work. Like it's supposed to, and it's going good, and boy, it really cranks. For such a small, lightweight stove, man, that thing really cranks out the heat. This is really the first time I've got it lit right. I've almost set the house on fire, or my office on fire a couple times with it. The fuel line on it was dirty. It had sat for years, and every time I would try to get it to work, it would re-plug the orifice of it. I went through the cleaning procedure several times for the fuel line, and just kept running it over and over again and taking it apart and cleaning the orifice out with a wire from a twist tie. The only thing I really could find to clean it, and I shot some of that electronics parts cleaner in it a couple times to help clean the little orifice jet. And finally, I got it to light right. One thing I noticed about these, I don't know if this is unique to the older ones, I've never had one of the newer ones, is that the priming cup and the preheating of it, the priming cup needs to be pretty full, and it needs to be thoroughly preheated. It needs to be really hot before you try to light the main burner. The problem is with this one so far, I found is that even with the valve all the way off, it tends to continue to drip a little fuel into the priming pan, and it makes a big boil over of fire. That's one of the problems I've had with it. I mean, this thing is, I've got the camera a foot away from it, and I almost can't hold it any closer because the heat's coming off it. And that thing really, really, really cranks out the heat. I've never seen anything, small stove, really put it out like that. It's white gas. The white gas thing is probably 10 years old. I did get the heat shields and all with it in a little bag. Didn't get much in the way of spare parts. I got a little bit of the oil. The pump and everything seemed to have lasted well over the years. Even the little pump cup was still in good enough shape. It takes pressure fine. But man, I mean, I'm sure you could easily smelt lead with that, no problem. I have no doubt that you could put a small crucible on it, or a small cast iron pan, and easily smelt lead for pouring lead. I mean, it's hotter than any Coleman. I've got a lot of experience with Coleman stuff. You can see I've got one right there. I've been playing with them. I got Coleman stuff everywhere. But never seen anything that really cranked out the heat like that. And I've noticed, though, you don't get much variation on that. You get this wide open, and that's about it. You can turn it down a little bit, but if you leave it in the, if you leave the valve in, you know, and then slow it down, it wants to not run like that. It really won't idle. It'll lower. You see, it dropped down a little bit there. I mean, it's still putting out tons of heat, but drop down a little bit there. But it won't idle like that. It'll want to eventually go out if it's not running pretty much wide open. You get a little variation on it, but not much. You can see it's kind of sputtering out there, and you know, it wants to be cranking along. So it's pretty much all or nothing affair with it. But it sure would, so you're not going to simmer very much with it, but you know, sure will heat up, you know, some water fast for cooking whatever you want. Whole thing weighs 2 pounds, which weighs nothing. That's including the fuel. I only have about, I was wondering how much fuel, how low you could get the fuel on this thing before we quit sucking it up. I only have about maybe an ounce of fuel in that, if that. And I've been playing around with it, so I mean, probably not even that in it now. So I suspect it'll use all the available fuel. Got a nice little stand. It looks pretty sturdy. The original routing of the fuel line, where they had it hooked through that leg right there, I unhooked it, figured out how to thread it around there and unhook it, because I was taking it apart and putting it back together so many times. But that's really supposed to be threaded down there. It doesn't seem to affect how it works, though, not to have it threaded through the leg. But there it is. You know, I kind of almost had lost hope on this little stove, but it's cooking now for sure. It's a little cantankerous. But at any rate, thanks for watching. This is Saul. Have a great day.